After being bitten by radioactive communists, our heroes develop strange and unusual powers beyond any mortal man. This is the Trade Paperback, the show.
Welcome to the Trade Paperback, a mediocre show on YouTube where the host got our Green Lantern power rings at a sex shop. They're for your penis.
Okay, yeah. I keep mine in a special drawer away from children.
He has to. That was court ordered.
Well, I don't want to get on the list is why. And, I don't want people touching my power ring.
Oh, exactly. Those constructs are quite fun if you get my drift.
Ugh, to make things gross.
Yes, I did.
So, let's update people what we did with the comic stuff this week. I'm gonna go first because I said so. I did not dive into any of the Marvel stuff yet. Like, I made a pull list by, doing a bit of research for the current comics. So I've about, 9 or 10 or 12 comics I'm gonna need to be grabbing. But, last week, we recorded last time on Wednesday. So, between Thursday and Saturday, I read all 8 issues that I can get my hands on of The Phantom Stranger. 20 issues of the Demon Knights, and 20 issues of Deathstroke, and I raged on Twitter about Deathstroke, because, you had to read, Team 7, for part of a story arc to, complete, and I didn't, notice any notifications, so by the time I went from, I think comic 18 to 19, suddenly he had spoilers and stuff.
Oh, that's their little, gimmicky thing to get people to buy more comics.
No, they had a flashback. He would flashback in the comics to his family. His family was his wife and his 2 sons. In between 17 or 18 or 19, one of those 3 comic sets. I smacked my mic, sorry. Somebody else pops up that was not mentioned prior, so they completely altered canon. At least the canon they set up at the time. So yeah, that was annoying. I raged for about 20 minutes on Twitter over that.
That's what Twitter's for people to make random comments that has no impact on the rest of society.
I like how they, because, since, they did the reboot, they have to, DC, they have to reset, put out all the various mystical entities, so they actually gave the Phantom Stranger his own comic. And the reason I actually went for that was because he pops up in Justice League Dark, suddenly, in the I'd say about, 3 comics into the last arc they did, because there's a new arc going on right now, but he popped in and he mentioned some war that's going to be starting soon, asking for Constantine to pick a side and all that. And yeah, he has a comic, and if you read it, you'll find out who the War of the 3 people are, the 3 sides. So yay.
I still haven't picked up the series, so
it's a bunch of mystic mumbo jumbo stuff. Yeah.
Let's see.
It's good stuff, though.
Me, I caught up with, because like we told you last week, we were both sick, so kind of back there. I caught up some with the Green Lantern stuff and the Wrath of the First Lantern. It's okay. It's just that it's kind of sad because we know that the writers are leaving, that this is their final hoo-ha.
I mean, hoorah?
No, hoo-ha.
Hoorah.
Because, I just went blank on the writer.
Neil Patrick Harris.
No,
It's not Neil Gaiman, is it?
No, it's not, Neil Gaiman. It's, Jeff Jones?
Garth Ennis?
No, I think it's Jeff Jones. But yeah, okay. Well, he's leaving, along with
whoever's actually writing. Don't quote us.
I'm pretty sure it's Jeff Jones. Because he's the same one that did the Blackest Night, and he's basically responsible for the resurgence of, oh my god, Green Lantern is awesome, and all these great story arcs they've been handling. And he's leaving after this. This is their final arc, is the Wrath of the First Lantern. And yeah, so it's kind of this is a great story, but what are we going to get next? Because I hate to say, I'm hoping that as soon as he leaves, they don't try rebooting it. Because if you look at the New 52, Green Lantern is pretty much the only series that did not get a New 52 reboot. Yes, they started over in numbers of issues, but the story picked right off where it ended, with the multiple cores and Death's Head and the White Lantern and all that. It's pretty much remained untouched. The events pre-52 still happened. And I'm hoping that something doesn't, at the end of this, make the whole thing reboot and it finally gets its New 52 reboot.
I don't think they would, because then they would have to renumber it, first off. And second off, they're going to have to try and explain to the fans why they're suddenly doing it. Without saying the words, well, we already had them contracted for this story arc, so we didn't want to waste our money.
Right, which is most likely what it is why they're leaving, is because their contract is probably ending.
Well, if I was a comic writer, I would want to have a diverse portfolio of various comics that I wrote, instead of just getting myself stuck with just, oh, you're the Green Lantern guy. Well, I can understand with Warren Ellis. He can point out to titles such as The Start of the Authority, a good part of Stormwatch, Transmetropolitan. He has that, but you don't want to get stuck in the niche of you just do powered superheroes,
Oh, he's actually done a lot more. I was right. It's Jeff Jones.
That's actually kind of a superhero name.
Jeff Johns, I mean. He one of his big ones recently is he wrote Flashpoint, the Flashpoint story arc.
Speaking of that, as far as I'm still aware, there is going to be a Flashpoint animated movie.
That's going to be good.
It better be good.
But yeah, I got done reading the new Red Lanterns, and it's kind of funny seeing Atrocitus go emo for a minute, because the White Lantern has the ability to show you alternate futures or alternate timelines. It's one of his powers.
The White Lantern just popped in this is all the timelines where you're a girl.
No, he takes them and he shows them, look, here's a timeline where you stopped the Manhunters from destroying your planet in this sector. And look, you're the leader of your people. Look, you're now the ruler of this sector of the galaxy.
Look, a sun explodes.
No, look, you just murdered your wife. Look, you just got assassinated by your own people for being a dictator.
Ooh.
And basically tells them, you can have your choice. The reality that you're in now, or this reality where you might be able to change things. But either way, you get to spend the next 40, 50 years with your loved ones. And he chooses to keep it the same. So he gets all emo and he's like, Red Lanterns, we must avenge the universe. I have found the greatest murderer of them all. He deserves to be punished. All Red Lanterns on site, when you see the culprit Atrocitus, kill him. So he ordered his own corps to murder him.
Wow. Oh, because either way, there's no way there's a perfect happy ending.
Right, like he said, he now blames himself for the destruction of that sector because he had the chance to change it. And he said no. He said that makes him as guilty as the Manhunters in his eyes. That he could have changed it, but he didn't.
Well, at least he's a man about it. He's just I blame myself. I'll tell him to do it.
Until the end of it, and then we find out that, he's a tricky dick. Because as they're all attacking him and messing him up, he's like, yes, I can feel your rage. I can see your torment. To each of the Red Lanterns that are attacking him. And then he's like, then he kicks all their asses. And he's like, you have succeeded, my Lanterns. They're like, but you told us to kill us. That little round dude, was it Zerlock or whatever? The bald dude.
That guy's creepy.
Yeah, he's like, but you told us to kill you. Because he's like comic relief, kind of. And he's like, you did. You have killed Atrocitus. And now only vengeance lives. And supposedly he's now attached to the rage of the universe, and he can feel and see all the rage and why they're so angry. Before, he was always selfish and it was always about his own ends. His own rage is all that mattered to him. And now he's like, now we must inflict the true punishment on the real scourge of the galaxy. And it shows them all flying toward Oa, extremes of all the red. So yeah, next issue is them attacking Oa.
That's not going to end well.
I think that's why I say it's coming to an end soon, and I guarantee you that, obviously, the Guardians are going to die. Because the Green Lantern Corps is mad at them. All the ones that have survived the onslaught of them being killed have now, get together and they're trying to figure out what we're going to do. How can we stop the Guardians? They're so powerful. The Red Lanterns are on their way to Oa. The new Guardians, they're training Kyle Ragnar how to use the white light because he's become a White Lantern now because he's mastered all the emotional spectrums.
Spoilers.
Well, it was quite obvious. That was that whole book from the beginning. Because obviously when every ring in the galaxy came to him and was like, you have been chosen to represent the Star Sapphires, the Sinestro Corps, the Red Lanterns, all of them chose him.
Yay, motorcycles.
It's quite obvious because, all the colors come together, it becomes white.
Technically, if all the colors come together, it doesn't make black.
In the light spectrum, no. In the light spectrum, all the colors come together, it becomes white.
Technically, white and black are shades, and only the colors are colors.
But
I learned that in art class.
That's what's up in the Green Lantern books. It's happy but sad because it's awesome that it's a good story and it's finally coming to a conclusion. And we're going to see the Guardians get their asses kicked. Oh, spoiler again. If you haven't been reading this book, there was they introduce a new group of Guardians, which is really obvious that's who's taking the Guardians' place. But they're called Templar Guardians, and these Guardians were locked in the cell with the White Lantern like millennia ago. To like kind of
on Earth and all that?
Yeah, to kind of keep him in check. And when the other Guardians came out and like broke him out, they tried to stop him. A couple of them got killed. And they were like, brothers, you've lost vision. You've lost our purpose. And they're like, whatever. And like killed a few more of them, then stole him, and then sealed the tomb back up, locking the Templars in the tomb. It's quite obvious that's who's going to be replacing the current Guardians are going to get taken out, and then the ones from millennia ago are going to take over. Hey, we're not assholes. We remember our purpose is to protect the universe, not rule it.
So, I want to talk a little bit about the Demon Knights, mostly because I just want to do a quick, easy sale on people wanting to read comics. The Demon Knights takes place after the fall of Camelot. So, like, so obviously, if you're up to date with DC lore, when Camelot fell, Merlin bound Etrigan to Jason Blood. In this instance, Madame Xanadu was one of the mystics that was taught under Merlin. And, like, it has that stuff, they take the king's body, he goes to Avalon, all that, they chuck the sword in the ocean, or in the water and all, the little lady in the lake grabs it, and blah, blah, blah. Flash forward a couple, I want to say decades, maybe 2-3 centuries. And those two, like, because, they're from Camelot, so they stuck together for a while. And, you see a few people, you see, this, like, like teeny, like, kind of teen, maybe preteen guy in gold and flashy armor with, like, a big helmet and a sword and all that. You see a big, like, within, like, 10 pages, you see a big, burly bear of a man, bust through an inn door because the innkeeper said they were closed. And, after a little while, wow, my throat just got a little weird. You see this lady on a horse with, like, a bow and, like, she's super good with archery. And what you find out within the first issue is there's this woman called the Questing Queen with Mordordu, or whatever his name is. Pretty much, he's the anti-Merlin. Like, he's the evil Merlin, okay? So, like, she's going on her quest, he's supporting and all that jazz. And what you find out is, in this little town, like, they have to pass through there, so pretty much, like, it's kind of like with magic dudes, like, fate chucks a whole bunch of people who can be heroes together to try and rise to the occasion. Oh, and there's one other person who, is taller than all of the others, and is a woman. Damn, in medieval times, what group of people were taller than most medieval men, but were only women?
Amazons?
Ding! Who is a well-known...
But they weren't medieval.
Well, it's the medieval time, so, like...
They're Greek.
Yeah. I know, I'm just saying, like, the medieval era, so, like, medieval Europe, or, like, a little bit before that, but who is a big, burly bear of a man in the same era, and is well-known in DC?
Vandal Savage?
Ding ding! And, obviously, there's Jason, It was like he had a different name, like, because like they didn't have titles like that. So in that era, he's called Jason O the Blood. Then you have an Amazon. Then you have Savage. Then you have Xanadu. Then I mentioned this lady on a horse. She's called Horsewoman. That's like her name. Like she's bound to the life force of horses and all that stuff. Then there's one final person, a guy from the Middle East. And, in our world, the Middle East in that era is like, they invented math. They had a couple advanced bits of stuff. Well, this guy apparently is wants something like that, but more fantasy-based. He uses science. So, like, imagine, like, he gets attacked. The first thing he does, he throws a cord around the dude, and they get electrocuted and fried. But, like, it's a very good series just because, like, it has the first arc, and then what happened, like, the first arc flows for, like, 15 issues, and then it goes to 30 years later. And it turns out, like, you find out through a series of things, they're all various immortals except for the guy from the Middle East. So, yeah. It's a very fun thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. They have to stop the Questing Queen and Dormammu, or whatever the hell his name is, from getting through the pass, because, like, if they do that, and they can ambush the next town, because it's like it's one of the big castle towns, to where, like, they have armies of like knights, soldiers, combat mages, all that stuff. And yeah, it's a very fun comic, especially because after that arc, guess what? They have to fight Kane. Where's Kane going? Themyscira. What happens in between then and there? It's just a really fun thing, because they actually get pulled together by an unlikely source to do that, because, like, they're all scattered, because 30 years go by, all those immortals aren't sticking together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. I'm just going to put a little teeny spoiler in between 30 years. One of the things you see with Vandal Savage, you see Jason Blood in a stockade, and his mouth is sealed, and he's been being tortured for a couple of years. Because Vandal Savage is, surprise, very petty in his youth. But yeah, that's a very good
petty
comic.
now, too, so...
Well, yeah, but he's more childish petty. Like, he'll let go grudges, and, like, he'll hold on to them. And, like, if he's in combat, like, and when they're doing the battle in the town, they send dragons at him, and he's just like, dragons, I haven't eaten these in, like, centuries, and he's just... By the time the fight's over, like, you just see him with, like, a dragon leg, and he's just eating through it.
I've actually always liked the character Vandal Savage, ever since that one... Was it a Justice League cartoon? Where Superman got sent, like, 1,000,000 years in the future?
Yes. And, like, he was, like, I think Savage was there in, like, he was the last one. There's just an insect race. Savage
was, like, the last living human on Earth, and, like, he said, it took me over 1,000,000 years to finally realize that I've been wrong all this time. And he was actually turned out to be a pretty chill dude.
The awesome, like, what I really like about the Demon Knights, it's not just a whole bunch of mystics. You have two people capable of magic, and technically one's only capable of magic if he summons Etrigan. Then you have an Amazon warrior, this horsewoman who can, like, talk to horses and is bound to a horse. Like, you find out just, like, through just, like, some off-character dialogue that she's actually crippled. So, like, the magic, like, if she bounds the life force to a horse, she's technically immortal, but her legs don't work, and she's just really good with a bow. Then you have, like, that Arab guy who's good with science. And, obviously, Vandal Savage, who is, conquered, by that time he's conquered several times. He's been a general, he's been a soldier, he's, all those things. It's like, he's just a big guy, you just give him, like, a bit of wood and he'll kill something. It's a fun thing.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good comic, because they don't, it's not just, like, straight up magic, so it's less, Justice League Dark and more, like, Justice League Dark meets, I don't know. Let's go with, like, medieval Batman style.
Speaking of medieval Batman, that was a great series. I don't even know if they still make them anymore. Elseworlds?
I don't know about that one, but I know for a fact that occasionally Marvel will come out with, What If comics. So, like, what if, Victor Von Doom took the place of, Tony Stark, and Tony Stark was Victor Von Doom. So, like,
Yeah, I think they've even stopped doing that, because their current story arc is a giant what if. And a lot of people are hating that. That Marvel's big thing that they're plugging right now is the Age of Ultron. And the entire thing does not take place...
The Age of Ultron's actually a short.
But still, it doesn't take place in our continuity.
Well, I think they just occasionally do that to put more stories out there for people to read. Like, they just have, like, miniseries and shorts. And all that fun stuff.
Well, speaking of Marvel, since you did see Iron Man 3, how'd you like it?
I liked it a lot, except I really felt that Iron Man movie should have become called Iron Man. We telegraph everything that's going to happen 20 minutes before it does.
But how'd you like it? I told you that's how it ended, huh? Even
No,
without
it wasn't
the
even
suit.
the ending.
Even without the suit, I'm still Iron Man. Dun, 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 dun.
Within 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes, I think within the first 5, I was like, okay, I know who the real villain is. I know what their weapon's going to be. Oh, what's this? I don't see this person other than on the TV? Okay, I got that one too. Oh, that's happening? Okay, that's their plot.
That's why I said they never showed the Mandarin ever killing anybody.
I know, but what I'm saying is they telegraphed almost everything at least 20 minutes before it happened in the movie. So, they pretty much just gave you these heavy-handed hints that if you know anything about, the Tony Stark just universe, oh, surprise, you can guess it.
I told you it was bad.
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
It was good, but it's nothing compared to the other ones.
Hold on, I have to write a note because I said a swear.
Oopsie. But see what I said about Ben Kingsley double performance? Because he was great as the scenes as the Mandarin, and then when he was as himself, in the bed with the 2 chicks, he was great.
Oh, I liked the whole movie. I also liked how they ended it, and obviously, guys, stay for after the credits, because with most Marvel movies and most movies with Johnny Depp in them, you tend to get something right after the credits.
We'll go ahead and talk about that, because I'm sorry, it's been out long enough that they're listening to this
Well, it's not really
podcast.
even a spoiler. He just keeps talking, they just give a reason, how he narrates through the whole thing. It's because he's talking to, crap, I just blanked out his name.
Mark Ruffalo.
No, it's not Mark Ruffalo. It's, what's the character's name?
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Bruce Banner. He's talking to Bruce Banner about just that whole pretty much when he's narrating throughout the movie, it just flashes back at the end of the credits and he's talking to him, so that's where the narration's coming from.
He's getting therapy from the Hulk, basically, which is the joke
he's just talking
of
to
it.
Hulk, and he's just like, Tony, I'm not that kind of doctor. And then Tony just ignores him and just keeps talking.
This is actually a great segue because I actually found a story. There was a different cut ending at the end of it that was scrapped.
Oh?
Oh, yes.
This isn't technically spoilers because it got scrapped.
Right. The original ending was supposed to be that throughout the film he was going to be developing a deep space armor in case he ever needed to go into space again. And it was going to have a cameo from the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end, and Tony receiving a distress call from space where we get to see our first Guardian, and then him donning the armor and flying into space was how it's going to end.
Yeah, that's how Tony rolls. Even if you think he's going to retire, if somebody's asking for help and he thinks he can help, he's going to do it.
Right, and they've actually talked about that, and apparently Hulk was going to be in it too, because this is a quote from Ruffalo. He said that the Iron Man 3 post-credits would have been nice to see on this movie, but it looks like they nixed it before anyone could ever get a look at it. The studio had one idea, Robert Downey Jr. had another. So apparently Robert Downey Jr. is the one that actually had the idea for the original post-credits.
Oh, just so you know, in that thing, you get a little hint at something. There, at one part of the movie, you see a giant Iron Man armor. I believe that might be a Hulkbuster, or at least a very early model.
Yeah, there's actually, you can actually find a guide on it. God,
Because I know, that one, it didn't have any armaments. It just was a big guy and it just started punching things.
Yeah, there's a guide out there. Just Google it, Iron Man 3 armor guide, and they've pretty much been laid out. But yeah, that's a Hulkbuster armor.
An early one. Because I know, before they did the reboot, they actually, S.H.I.E.L.D. had Hulkbuster teams. So they had, big hulky armors. And, they had tanks. What those things would do is they'd shoot sedative gas to knock him out. Because that's the only way to take out the Hulk. You have to knock him out. Or shoot him into space. Either way.
Yeah, which we're going to hopefully see that as a movie, too.
Like a CG, comic, cartoon, or a real one.
No, supposedly that was actually going to be the idea for the Hulk movie. And part of, Marvel Phase 3 was going to be World War Hulk.
That could be fun. I mean, it's gonna be fun to watch anyways, because, hey, you see Hulk, you see explosions, fun all around. Oh, yeah.
But what gets me is how they're going to do World War Hulk without Planet Hulk.
Without who? The Hulk?
Planet Hulk.
Cartoon.
Because for anybody out there that doesn't know this series, Planet Hulk is the Illuminati say, okay, Hulk, you're too dangerous to be on Earth anymore, so we're shooting you off into space. And he lands on a planet, and he meets a chick, he becomes a gladiator, he bangs her, he has a kid, he becomes their king, and he lives happily ever after. Until the ship that they sent him in has a reactor breach and explodes, killing everybody on his planet, including his woman. So Hulk's like, me mad, gets his gladiator buddies, and goes back to Earth to wage war. And that's why it's called World War Hulk.
Yeah, and Planet Hulk is currently a DC animated. No, Marvel animated, sorry.
Right.
So you can watch that without having to read all the comic on it.
It's a little bit different, but it's pretty much the gist of it. Like, they couldn't get some of the characters. Like, in the original comic, like in the cartoon, the guy that he has to fight, their ultimate champion, was a captive Beta Ray Bill. But in the comic books, it was a captive Silver Surfer that was being held prisoner.
Well, either one of them are a bit of a beat stick. If you guys don't know Beta Ray Bill is, he's an alien that did some stuff with people from Asgard, and to reward him, I believe they had the dwarves make him hammers, sort of like Mjolnir, or Mjolnir, whatever you call it.
The original thing was, I don't remember, it was somehow he got a hold of Thor's hammer, and Odin was...
And he was able to lift it.
Yeah, Odin was impressed that he was righteous and pure enough to actually pick up the hammer of Thor. The Mjolnir, however you ever say it. The Mjolnir.
Yeah, it's, obviously with Norse words, they can be a little, hard to pronounce, because, I think it's M and J together, which is really... Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, because unless you, like, get a phonetic reading from somebody who knows a lot, you're just like,
Oh, but since we were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, there's casting news. 3 out of the 5 names that they have attached to the series, I do not know. But Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and Dave Bautista are the 3. I have no idea who the hell they are. Then they just added Ophelia Lovibond. No idea who she is, but here's the big one. The Walking Dead's Merle, Michael Rooker.
That's good.
I guarantee he's going to be Rocket Raccoon.
Let's see, I can point out exactly who they're going to be voice acting for. Chris Pratt will be Star-Lord, a.k.a. Peter Quill. And like his titles aren't that big. He was Barry in Wanted. That's like the biggest title I can see on his page.
Yeah, it looks like yeah.
Zoe Saldana is best known for she was Andrea in Haven, but that's only 2004. I didn't even watch a lot of Haven because it bored me. She was Netiniri in Avatar, so I think the main lady character. Apparently she's Liza in Machete Kills, so that's plus in her favor.
She was in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Black Pearl also.
The lady who he gave to the ship.
Anna Morea, or whatever.
See, Ophelia is going to be...
Oh, she was Uhura.
Oh, hi.
And Star Trek.
It's not our fault that we don't know some of these names, just because we don't read the things. Yeah, apparently a lot of the names are like, who's going to be doing what.
It's already on her Wikipedia who she's playing. Guardians of the Galaxy 2014, Gamora. Wow, hopefully she wears that costume.
Oh, crap, they actually have... I'm going clicking their pages, but apparently the cast... Dave Bautista is going to be Drax the Destroyer. Gamora, which is... I've clicked that one before, so... Michael Rooker is going to be Yondu.
Yondu? Oh, he's not going to be Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, well. Looks... Gamora seems to be, a scary, I want to say, villain. Yeah.
No, she's a member of the team. She's, team affiliations, Guardians of the Galaxy, Infinite Watch, United
No, I'm just
Front.
saying she looks like a villain. I'm not saying she's gonna be one.
Yeah.
Okay. Lee Pace is gonna be the film's villain. So yeah, it's a thing. Oh, well, we're just about out of time right now, too.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes of the show.
No, but
Okay, this will be the last thing we're going to be talking about. I just recently picked up the 2 Tim Burton Batman films from 1989. And I have to say, I enjoyed it more than Batman Begins.
well, Batman Begins wasn't that fast-paced.
But still, just the characters. And I hate to say it, probably the rest of the Nolan also. Because it's just... The words aren't coming out of my mouth. It's kind of like the feel of the comic. That's what you go to see a comic book movie for. And the 1989 Batman film was exactly that. It was a comic book come to life. Like even like the bat suit. You have to admit, the 1989 Batman suit was awesome.
Oh, it was nice. I mean, until they gave it armored nipples.
Right. That's why I'm not including that. I'm only including the
And a
2 Tim Burton.
codpiece.
The 2 Tim Burton ones. He was only for the first 2, the 2 good ones.
Joker, then Penguin, Catwoman. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 good ones.
The dark ones.
Yeah. And, like, Batman was, like, brooding, and he's, like, I was... Just the fact that it was Michael Keaton, you didn't expect Michael Keaton to play Batman, then when you saw him on screen, he was imposing and brooding and intimidating. He was the way you think Batman should be.
Well, yeah, he was like, if you look at, like, just, you don't even have to go to a comic, you can just watch the 90s animated Batman series. That's that Batman. But since then, we've had, things are more gritty and more dark and more, I guess, more realistic.
Right, that's what I said. Michael Keaton embodied the role perfectly. You had a sense that he was angry, and he was going to use that anger to help people of Gotham. It was just, I'm pissed off at the night, I'm going to punch it.
Yes, and then once, like, the change of, like, the feel of comics changed, you got Heath Ledger as the Joker and Nolan as Batman. All yelly and punchy and throat cancer.
You mean Bell as Batman?
Yeah. Bale, Nolan, they're people.
That ruined it for the movie for me. Batman took
Well, he had to. Well, he had to talk like that so, like, the people who actually know him wouldn't guess his voice.
Yeah, but Michael Keaton did the same thing, but he didn't overdo it. Michael Keaton went from sounding like a normal guy, like, hey, I'm Bruce Wayne, how you doing? To kind of like the Kevin Conroy Batman, kind of like it's just a subtle change.
Well, my opinion is Batman's superpower is having lots of money. Couldn't he just got a voice modulator?
Yes, but maybe that technology would hurt somebody. I don't know.
Or I guess maybe he would just be too worried that if he got punched and it would break and they'd guess who he was.
That could be it too. Now we come to the Joker. Like you said, Heath Ledger's Joker. Yes, his version of it was impressive, but like I said, it's not the comic version. The Jack Nicholson Joker, in my mind, was like the perfect performance of the comic book Joker. The Joker we see in the comic books is Jack Nicholson.
Sometimes in the comic books, because you see the one, the one when he's in jail and Zeus, cuts his venom and turns it into a drug? That was, the more terrorist, monstrous Joker, who wasn't really scared of anything. He saw his objective and he just, I'm gonna make that guy hurt. And that's what he did. He firebombed things. I think he killed the guy's nephew.
But Jack Nicholson one was still the same, but he still didn't keep he was doing all those things, but was light and making jokes and being funny about it. What jokes did the Heath Ledger Joker ever really tell?
He made a pencil disappear.
That's the only thing he's known for in that. But that's the only Joker thing. When you think about the Jack Nicholson Joker, how many great lines and just little one-liners, when the Batwing comes and snatches up all the balloons filled with Joker gas and flies away. He's like, my balloons. He stole my balloons. Bob, I need a gun. And Bob hands him a gun. Then he shoots Bob. I need a moment alone. Then just walks away.
The problem, though, is, they did, Ledger did the Joker more, realistic, which is, the Nolan verse, right? They're more, dark, gritty, realistic.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So coming from a straight comic book fan, the 89 Batman was more superior just for the fact of the sticking to the source.
Well, I disagree, but, you wanna, close this out because we are just a little bit over time.
It's okay. And this is another episode come to an end. This is episode 2 for those keeping track. You can follow me on Twitter at CDBinning, BINNING. You can subscribe to the show. Subscribe, share. You can follow Dustin at
DustinDTC.
You can send us emails at thetradepaperbackshow@gmail.com. Like I said, share with your friends, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. See you next week.
Yeah, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
Guys.